Hi everyone, this is Irene Katkidi with jamplay.com. Welcome to week 4 of Expression Techniques for Guitar. This is my latest live course, and today we're going to be finalizing bending by introducing the pre-bends, everything else we've covered last week, and most importantly by combining everything with slides and vibrato and everything we've done so far. Today's lick is a bit longer, so I'm just going to dive straight into it, and then we can talk about everything and break it down. Whoops, do again. Great, so lots of bending on this one. As you probably noticed, I included virtually any combination of bending and vibrato and slide you could get. So let's just do a warm-up this time. I just want to start by doing the pre-bends, which is, the newest thing today. Hopefully, by practicing last week for the actual bends, you're comfortable with how much muscle memory is required for each string to bend up to a certain point. Now today, the only pre-bends I've included here are whole tone bends. Pretty sure these are the only ones. So, and we stayed in the key of E minor. So why don't I do this with the 2 pre-bends we have so far? Or maybe, you know what, let's just warm up on the 12th fret. We'll just do some pre-bends on some of the high strings. Now, let's start from the B string. This is the easiest one. Imagine that I want to bend from the 12th to the 14th, but not really bend, but kind of pre-bend and then release. So this is going to be, to get to that, you need to be quite quick to bend the note first without playing the string, and that means that you're touching the string with your pick so that you don't get any sound, right? Do you see I'm literally, well, my pick is resting on the string, but it's not plucking it, just so that I don't hear the way up, because I want to hear the pre-bend. So the high note then comes down to the lower or, root note, beginning note. So yeah, this is it. Same for the G string. I can do it for the D string. This time it's going to be, motion is going to be downward. Actually needs a lot more here. Or a lot less, depending on how it feels in your fingers and what gauge of strings you're using. So let's do these 3 strings. 14 to 12 for, B, G, and D strings. Takes a bit time to get used to it, and now that we're doing it like an exercise, it might not sound too expressive, but trust me, it will pay off. So now let's do it again. We'll do it a few times per string. So this is what I want to hear. Bending, releasing. Bending without picking and releasing. G string. You can play around with how quickly you want it to come down or fast. D string. And you can add a vibrato at the end. So yeah. This is our new, let's say, newish technique. We're just getting used to the pre-bending. Now this is more of a timing thing. It's not that you don't know how to do it, but it's just, I think most of it involves the muting from the right hand. Well, not muting, but just making sure that you're not picking the string so you don't hear this. Or we want the. So you're essentially killing the string by touching your pick to it. Right, I think let's dive onto the lick. Like I said, it's a long one because I wanted to include as much as possible directly in a practical environment. Like I said, we're in the key of E minor, so we want to combine what we learned last time. We don't want to start thinking the fretboard in a different key again. So let me start with A. I mean, this consists of 4 parts, if you like. It's like 2 A parts, and then 1 B part and another A part at the end. Let's check out bars 1 and 2. Actually, let's check out bar 1 first of all. Now this is one of my favorite things to do. We're bending and sliding across the string. So what am I doing now? The notes I'm hearing are these. But instead of just sliding up the fretboard, what I'm doing is I'm bending to those from the previous note of the scale. So if I wanted to hear E, F sharp, G, A, and B, now I'm playing D, E, F sharp, G, and A, and bending those. So obviously there's not only whole tone bends, there's semitone bends involved here. So I've got a whole tone bend on the D note of the G string, which is on the 7th fret. I'm bending up to E. Then I'm sliding without an extra pick to the E note and bending up another whole tone to the F sharp. So that's fret 9 with a whole tone bend. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm sliding while bending, or yeah, so obviously I have to come down, right? I'm not going to be able to bend, stay there and then slide. That would sound weird anyway. But yeah, I'm kind of quickly releasing, sliding to the next note, and then bending up again. That's all with 1 stroke. So maybe it will be good to get used to these 2 for some time, because this is a new technique involving those 2, bending and sliding. And then I'm doing the same thing, sliding from 9 to 11, and this time it's a semitone bend. So I need to control the amount of push I'm going to give to the G string here, because I need a semitone F sharp to G. And then there's 1 more bend. That's on the, well actually there's 2 more. On the 12th fret, G to A, and A to B on the 14th fret. So our frets are 7, 9, 11, 12, and 14. And this is just 1 string, the G string, where I'm bending every note, releasing it quickly, and then immediately sliding to the next note of the scale, bending that up to its next available one. I hope you get it. I mean, it's probably easier to play than describe. So, and the sound is like, but it's not quite the same, is it? So, because you're hearing that tiny return, which is nice, before it gets to the next bend. So this is our first phrase, and there's a little vibrato on the end of that last bend. So this one comes in on 2, E, and A. So basically it comes in the last 16th note of beat 2, or 1/16th note before beat 3. You can think about it like that. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2. Last time, 1, 2. Now this is challenging, so don't worry if you don't get it 100% right immediately. This is even like an exercise, you know, taking a scale and bending up to every note in a string. You would probably do that in strings G and B. Maybe even the high E, depending on the amount of sustain you have, which is probably not going to be a lot. Because as you realize, we have to do everything with one pick. So we're relying on our left hand to keep the gain enough in order to get the whole phrase running. And it's great because it sounds like a slide almost, like playing slide guitar maybe, or just, I don't know, a keyboard. It has this tone to it. So 1, 2, right? So first phrase, we've got a response to that, which is bar 2, and this is where our pre-bends come in handy. And we're in position 1 of E minor pentatonic, if you want to think of it like that. And what am I doing? A number of combinations here. We've got a pre-bend on the 15th fret on the B string. Then I've got a release and then a pull off, like we showed last time. Very, very common. Either a bend or a pre-bend comes down when released and then pulls off to another note behind it. So this is what happens here. Pre-bend on the 15th, release, pull off to the 12th, right? So no, it's a pre-bend. Same thing happens on the G string. I've got a pre-bend on the 14th fret, then releasing and then pulling off to 12. So I have to be kind of quick when changing the strings now, because not only do I have to get to the next string on time, but I also have to pre-bend it, right? So to push it up, to get ready and play that high note. And then what happens? Another slide, this time it's from the 12th to the 11th fret. Not picking it, I'm just coming down of a pull off and then sliding back, 12 to 11. But immediately bending a semitone up the 11th fret. I'm picking those now, but I'll show how it happens. Remember when we pick with the first finger only? Because that's what happens here. I'm sliding, this is how I landed. When bending on the G string with, well, most of the strings, when bending with the first finger, we pull the string down. We don't push it up, so. And then I'm mending this phrase on the root note, that's an E note on the 14th fret of the D string. Now, I'm also releasing this bend, the semitone bend. And this is the whole lick. It comes in on, again, the very same place. Remember this, because this is how the song kind of grooves. So all the melodies are coming more or less in the same parts, like a vocal would do, So this comes again on the last 16th note of B2. And this is 1, 2. I'm also playing a little bit of bar 3. If you notice, I'm playing the first 2 beats, because that's where the phrase ends. So 1, 2. So if you notice, there's only one pick per string. I've got pre-bend, release, pull off, same thing in the G string, including a slide, another bend, another release, and another note on the D string. So there's a lot of things we can do here, and in fact, this is why I'm showing it, how to connect bends and slides and everything. One more time, 1, 2. And again, 1, 2. One, 2. Let me play bars 1, 2 together, and I'll include this bar 3 where the phrase ends, so you can get, feel for how they connect. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. This is our first phrase. Now, like I said, it's divided in 4 bars. What happens now in bars 3 and 4? There's a bit of a more sparsed out phrase which completes the cycle, this A part, first A part. And what is that? If we look at the tab, this is the 3 end of bar 3, and I've got a full tone bend. And then while I'm on the same bend, I'm continuing to bend another semitone. We did that last time, so hopefully you remember. And then, yeah, we release and we've got a slide phrase there. I'm going to show that. We're on fret 17 of the B string, which is right here, and I'm bending up a whole tone. And then another semitone extra. This is what happens. We can practice it together. So bend up a whole tone and an extra semitone, so a total of 1.5 tone. Notice that when I do that, it's not completely mechanic, so I'm not going up a full tone, then another semitone. I'm kind of slightly releasing and then giving up that extra semitone, because it sounds more musical, you know, otherwise it sounds... Actually, it depends on the... Yeah, I mean, both are great, but this one, because it's a longer note in the beginning, I wanted it to bend down a bit and then come up. So, you know, whatever you like, it's a matter of preference. This felt right to do it here like this. So let's do it together. Full. An extra semitone for 1.5 tone bend. Now what's the timing? It goes 1, 2, 3. And then there's the second phrase with a slide. So what did? I released the note after the 1.5 bend, pulled off to the 15 on the B string, very Gilmour-y. And then I'm adding a new picked note here, which is the 17th fret again, sliding up to 20 and then sliding down to 17 again. Right? This is like a little phrasing trick. And very vocal sounding as well. So this is our whole phrase. Comes in on the 3 ends. I'm bending up a whole tone immediately, and then beat 1 of bar 4, I'm bending up the extra semitone. Holding onto it, and then releasing, pulling off, our usual trick, then doing our slide outro, right? Which is our slide up and down. So I'll do this whole thing together. So I'm counting in from bar 3 and coming in on beat 3 end. So 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Last time, 1, 2, 3. And a bit of vibrato in the end. I'll do these 4 bars with a click, actually. Let's connect them. It's going to be, I'll do it at 65. All right. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, don't worry, I'll get back to those as soon as I do second A part. I'll connect those together. Yep, let's get on. This is going to be bars 5 to 8. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that there is a motive, a rhythmic motive here, of course, as I usually do, just to kind of, you know, prepare you for your own improvisation, because you want to be repetitive. You don't want to be boring repetitive, but you want to be like lyrically and vocally, sort of vocally repetitive in a style that encourages the listener to engage to what you're playing. So what happens here, we've got the same rhythm but different notes and some shorter some more staccato played ending notes, but essentially it's like, which was the same as, same rhythm, and this time it's, what's happening here, I've got frets 7 and 9 on the G string. I'm doing a hammer-on here. We will do a lot more work in hammer-ons when the week comes, but it's not a bad idea to get used to them. So I've got a hammer from 7 to 9, G string. It's like a grace note. Then I'm sliding from 9 to 11 with my third finger. And then bending a semitone, same note. 11 to 12, it's an F sharp to a G, so. And this is a staccato note or very short note. And then this is how I'm ending this phrase. Sliding with my first finger 7 to 9 on the G string, doing the same on the B string, 7 to 9 again. This is my exit note. It's a bit longer than the others, yeah? This is the B note of the D string. I'm staying there for a while, so let me play bar 5, 1, 2. And I'm actually playing a bit of bar 6, because that's where the phrase ends. Again, 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2. 2, 4, 1, 2. Last time, 1, 2. Now what? Now we've got more slides coming up. So this vibrato there has a number of uses. First of all, it's for expression. Secondly, we want to hold the gain of the string, the vibration, because there's a lot of slides coming up and there's no other pick involved. So this is our last pick there, because it goes lots of work for the first finger, right? Because it sounds cool. If you can't do it, you can add a pick in between, you know, there's no harm in that. So you can play a pick somewhere if you're losing the tone completely, because it's best to get the phrase running rather than not do it at all, just for the sake of the technique. But yeah, if you can do it, remember what we did with slides. We did a lot of work on that. Use the same finger on the same string, slide up and down, and this creates a beautiful flow, vocal again effect of the notes played in a row. So the frets here are, I've got 2 descending slides. This is bar 6. I'm going from fret 9 on the D string to 7 and 5. Long slide, to the 7. Longer slide, B note on the 9th fret. Slide up to 12 on the D, slide down again to the same note, 9th fret. Like what we did here. Make sure you're looking at the guitar while doing this. This is quite challenging to do without looking. So again, 7, 5, 7, 9, 12, 9. Two, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. First finger working hard here. Okay, we've got frets 5 and 6 down, and now this last note, this B note on the D string. I mean, as you see, what we did is we kind of circled around it and we came back to it, didn't we? So we did. It's as if we kind of decorated this note, and then we ended up on bar 7. Same exact note, but just of a longer value. Holding it for 3. So what happens there? I've got a longer lick. Again, this is finalizing the second A section. I mean, let me quickly do what we've got so far, which is 1, 2. And by so far, I meant what we're doing for the second A part. Now I'm going to go to bar 7 and start with the long lick. Not a hard lick, just a lot of bending again and different timings involved here, just to get you perhaps out of your comfort zone, or maybe even just give you some more ideas on how you can play around with those. So I'm going at the 14th fret of the high E string, and I'm going to bend it up a semitone. This is an F sharp to a G. Remember, in E minor, all the notes are natural except for the F, which is an F sharp, if it helps you. So hammer on, 12 to 14, and then bending it up in the next 16th note. It's not a quick bend. Remember, we said last time we can bend up immediately, or we could use the starting point and then use the next rhythmic value to bend within the groove. So that's what we're doing here, second thing. And now I'm doing the bend twice. I'm releasing it and playing it again without picking it. In fact, all this part is just played with one pick. So hammer, 12 to 14, bend, release, bend again, release, pull off, slide down. Let's do it a few times. So this comes in on beat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm playing up until bar 8, and that's, including beat 1 of bar 8. So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's more stuff happening after that. Let's do these 2 beats. Now this is a semitone bend on the 12th fret of the B string. This is a B to C bend. And again, it's done within the groove, right? It's not a quick bend. I think I've got to pull off here, yeah. So again, 1 pick per string. All right, I've got 12th fret on the B string again, bending up a semitone, releasing, pulling off to the 10th. Then 12th fret on the G string, pulling off to the 11th. All together so far, 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3. We've got this last part left. And what's that doing now? This is a slide and another bend and a release. So I've got, so I've got 12th fret on the G string, sliding to the 14th, bending it quickly and releasing. So I'm barely even hearing that 14th. It goes. another trick you could do with bends. Bend quickly and return to the original note. It's kind of like a pre-bend, but it's not. So, you know, check out the differences. I mean, if it was a pre-bend, it wouldn't have the slide, because the slide immediately ties those notes together. So it gives it more of a flow. Generally speaking, whenever there's a slide involved, you probably have very well connected notes, unless it's just, you know, a grace note like. Yeah, if that's the case, these are just staccato notes with a grace note of a slide. But if there's a slide between the notes, continuous notes, then we're talking about a very good flow. So yeah, the pre-bend typically tends to kind of break the flow. Remember what we did before, how it sounded. Compare. So now we've got slide, bend quickly, release, and of course a vibrato. So this is in total 1, 2, 3. This note goes into the next bar, which is part B, okay? Just so you know. 1, 2, 3. And this is what we've got here with the second part A. Let me play that with a click just by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. From bar 5. 1, 2. Let's go again. Bar 5, yeah? 1, 2. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's it. Right, moving on to part B. This is a different harmony. The chords are changing, so we've got a slightly different feel as well. Everything else has been funky so far. This comes down to kind of a soul chorus, if you like. And now we've got some more sparse notes. Again, what's happening here? I've got the B note that's still ringing from what I did before. And then I've got an interesting semitone bend here, which comes from the blues. E minor blues, right? So I've got the 15th fret on the G string, bending up a semitone. And then playing that very same note underneath on the string below, which is the B string. So I'm going to the 12th fret. 15 on the G, 12 on the B, and I'm letting them ring together if I like. I kind of like that. So I'm holding that bend, that semitone bend, and then releasing it, pulling off to the 12th fret on the G string. But that releasing doesn't require a pick. I'm just taking it down, pulling off. You can play with picks and fingers, or just pick. I like pick for that. And finger for the B string. So the second phrase with the semitone bend comes in on beat 3 end. Okay, if you look at it, bar 9, this is where this semitone bend comes in. What do we have afterwards? We have a very cool phrase, maybe my favorite one, on bar 10. Now this is similar to what we did in the beginning, but it's a reverse slide. So this is probably going to be a bit more challenging to get, but when you get it, it's so worth it, because that note, is so expressive. So what am I doing here? I'm doing fret 9 to 11 on the G string. This is like a grace note with a hammer on, bending it up a semitone. No more picks. Semitone. Then I'm sliding back to the 9th fret and bending this 9th fret a whole tone up. So it's like I'm going, but I'm doing it. And it's great because the string kind of dies out, doesn't have so much volume left, and then you get a great dynamic on this phrase. Let's do it slow. So I've got again 9 to 11 with a hammer on. This hammer on is a grace note, it's a quick one, and I'm bending fret 11. Trying to hold this string as firmly as I can, releasing that 11th fret bend, sliding down to the 9th and bending the 9th up a whole tone. Let's focus on that. And then my typical release, pull off to the 7th, slide down to the 4th for that B note on the G string. We're still on the G string, so. So this probably needs some more work. Again, where does it come in? It comes in on 3-end. Same thing as the previous phrase. See, there's a symmetry in those. So these two bars, 9 and 10, 3, 4. And this, of course, is taking a little bit of bar 11, right? Because this is where the phrase ends. Again, we've got a vibrato here. And this is the ending of section B. Now let's have a look at it. It's bars 11 and 12. After we've done this nice descending slide and bend combo, we just have some slides here actually, so this should this should actually feel a lot easier now. So it would be a relief. What do we have? We've got frets 2, 4, 2, and actually an open string on the G string. So slide. I've got 3 slides happening here. Actually 2, because I've got to pull up to the open string. Hammer on. And again, 2 slides. Again, I'm playing around with this note, this A note. I'm just circling around it in a kind of a tasty way. So I could have done just that's what I want to say, but I'm not saying it up front. I'm just going. I've concluded at the same note, but yeah, in a cooler way. What happens next? I've got these staccato notes. These are coming in on the offbeat. So it's coming, the notes are coming on the 2nd and 4th, 16th notes, right? Where those, this is bar 12, beat 2, E and A. Again, notice rhythmic motive here. This is the same place where we have our original melody coming in. So it feels like something's gonna come back. And indeed, what's coming back is part A. We've got another part A. So that's our slight rhythmic change. So I'm in position to the minor pentatonic. This is where I am. I'm sliding to it, this 16th fret on the G string. Again, I'm on bar 12. Right, staccato notes. fret 16 on the G string, frets 15 and 17 on the B string, fret 15 on the high E string, and then I've got a pull off, quick pull off, 17 to 15 on the B string, ending again. This is our root note, our E note on the 17. This is it. This, like I said, should feel very easy compared to what's happening before. I want to play part B. Remember, part B is coming slightly before bar 9, okay? So this A note that we've got there in the 14th fret, it's already sounding. Let's play it. So 65, section B, bars 9 to 12. 2, 3, 4. And I'm playing, of course, a little bit of part A because I need to end on that note, that root note. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. I think you're doing really great up until now. I'm sure you're nailing most of those. I don't know, somehow I feel it. So yeah, let's close this by the last A section, or verse if you like it. To me, this feels like we had 2 verses, a chorus and another verse. And yeah, as you probably would expect from me or from a song, if it's the same section, then I'm gonna go with the same type of melody. This time I'm doing it an octave high. Very, very typical, right? So what do we have? It's the exact same rhythmic motif, and it comes in on the 2 E and A, which is again the last 16th note of beat 2. And look at where we are. We are here, 17th fret of the B string. Same thing, like almost the same, because I'm doing some different sliding and stuff, but the timing is the same, the phrase is the same, right? So it goes 1, 2. So the only thing I've changed is that I'm playing the E note without a bend. I'm also sliding to the F sharp, so I'm losing 2 bends. I'm sliding to the 19th fret, and then I'm bending again. I'm using an extra pick here, just because the B string on those high frets is not going to have as much sustain. So I just want to make sure that the rest of the 2 bends are going to make it. And I'm bending a semitone high on the 19th, sliding again like we showed in the first phrase to 20, immediately bending up a whole tone, sliding to 22, bending up a whole tone again there. So let's do this a few times. So this is bar 13. Well, these are bars 13 and almost the whole of 14. So let's do it. 3, 4. Three, 4. Three, 4. Okay, this is the same, very same rhythm. Obviously, you're going to feel the tension of the strings in a different way because it's a different string, different height on the guitar. Same idea, we've got a vibrato on the end, and now I'm going to change up the response to that, just because I'm going to close this lick anyway, so I wanted to have a sense of build up. And what is happening? Now this is the end of bar 14. where I've got a whole tone bend on the 20th fret of the high E string. This comes in on beat 3 and remember, we had a lot of phrases coming in on the 3 and within this track, so something to think about when composing, right? Now this is bar 15. I'm bending, holding it up for a while, then releasing, and doing this hammer-on pull-off phrase that we see in bar 15. What's that now? This is fingers 2, 3, 2, 1, 2 again. Just because it feels more natural, because I'm coming down from that 20th fret bend and I'm already there with my second and third fingers. So I'm not going to switch now to 1, 3, 4. I'm just going to stay with 1, 2, 3. So pick. Another pick on the same note. Everything else is hammered and pulled off. Again, we'll talk about those in detail in a later week. But this feels great here, so I have to add it. Frets again, we've got 19, 20, 19, 17. Ending again on the 19th. Let me play bars 13, 14, and this beginning of 15, almost the whole bar 15 before we head to the last phrase. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's it. And then last lick, very last lick to close the whole thing. It's going to be a typical bend. This motion is probably something you know already from lots of blues songs. I'm bending up a whole tone on the 14th fret on the G string, and then with my first finger, it's kind of a mini bar, not like a bar because I'm not, getting those notes to ring together. I'm separating them, but they're still both in the 12th fret. So. And now this time what's changing, I'm sliding down to the fret, to 10th fret, so. And I'm kind of duplicating that same idea with a bend on the 14th fret, on the 12th fret, because that's another available bend. Don't forget, you can, with a pentatonic especially, it's great because you can spot so many whole tone bends and you can apply them with similar motifs that you already know. You don't have to create a million phrases. So this is what I'm doing here. Okay, bend, return. Actually, there's no return here or release. I'm just heading to a next note. And how am I closing it? After the whole tone bend on the 12th fret, I'm going with the very same fingers back, playing a semitone bend on the 11th fret of the G string. We've done this a number of times now. And then typically releasing, pulling off to 7, to 9, and then sliding down to 7, ending on the B note, which is the 9th fret on the D string. So. So this phrase has two parts. Right? And where does that second part come into? It's on beat 3. That semitone bend that changes the feel, and that's where the song kind of slows down. It's on beat 3. Okay, let me play bars 13 to 17. If you notice for bar 17, the last note, I didn't pick it. You can pick it, but it feels like because the song is fading out, I want to just hammer it with the left hand. Sounds sweeter. There's nothing wrong if you pick it, I'm just mentioning it as a tasty idea. Okay, 65 for bars 13 to 17. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this was not clean at all. Let me play it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's lots of work. I mean, I've managed to squeeze it. So I know some of the things might have sounded a bit rushed, but I wanted to make sure I put everything in, and I want to make sure that you've got lots of questions to ask me. Even not in this lesson, but in any other occasion, you can find me in social media and ask me whatever you want regarding this lesson or the other lessons. I'm happy to help, or check out how you want to play the lick if you want to send it to me and give you some feedback. So what I'm going to do now, this has all been great. We've worked really hard, and really this lick is a monster lick. It's covering everything you're probably going to see in bends and slides, all these things combined, and the vibrato and everything. So as usual, I've got the long version of the backing track for you to practice. You can play the lick as many times as you want. You can play your own stuff. You can practice the bends and the pre-bends. And yeah, let me play it one last time, and we can call it a day today. I'll see you in the questions in a little bit. All right. Beautiful. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your fingers are, feeling the heat like mine. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes with your questions. Other than that, I'll see you next week with another cool expression technique. Thank you very much. Hey everyone, I'm back for your questions. I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. This was part 2. It was kind of a, like I said, monster lick with bending. Anything that you would come across bending is probably included into that lick. So hope you had fun. I sure as well did. So think we might be having some connection. I might be having some connection issues actually. So let me see if I'm back online with you guys. Okay, sorry for this. I think I might have bumped into a connection issue here. So I hope you guys were still with me. I was answering question number 1 for today, which was if you can do it bending an acoustic guitar, like what we're doing now. So yeah, you could probably do some of that, not all of it. I mean, sliding and bending at the same time, I don't know if there's enough gain on an acoustic guitar to do that, but maybe some semitone bends or even some whole tone bends if you have a light gauge and if you know, your neck is quite flat without a radius, and also, you know, like a very low action, quite low, to keep the strings quite low to get that easily, otherwise it might be quite painful. But yeah, this is as much as you can do. You can play an instrument, but yeah, not all of that definitely cannot be done on an acoustic. Okay, next question. This is, oh, that's not a question, that's great. This is when you realize bends can take you to another dimension. Great course, keep it up. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm having fun with this just as you are, because I'm getting more and more creative just to show you what you can do with these tools, right? Because otherwise we can end up doing lots of exercises and then maybe we lose the point. Maybe we don't see these things in practical environments. But yeah, thank you so much. I mean, that's what I'm here to do for you guys. Play some melodies, put in those cool stuff, and hope you can take it to your own playing. Hey, next question. How do you overcome your fear of breaking a string on epic bends like these? You know, that's an excellent question. I don't know if it's a fear, but it's probably like you're a bit, you have to be aware of what the string tells you. I mean, I think it was last week when I showed you the 1.5 tone bends where I mean, on the high E string, I literally didn't do it because I knew I could feel the tension that it wasn't going to make it. The string isn't going to make it. So I think the best thing you can do is to work with your guitar. Every instrument is different. Every string gauge feels different. So work with your guitar. Just figure it out. All the bends different. You know, below that, you're probably going to hit some semitone bends. So the better you know your guitar, how it responds, the more you will avoid these traps. But also, you have to remember that when you're playing live, things might take you and it might feel right. So, I mean, you could end up breaking a string, but it doesn't happen all the time. Make sure you have an extra guitar. Yeah. But yeah, if you know the guitar that you're playing well enough, you probably will feel the tension and you won't attempt anything like that. So yeah, cool. And by the way, I apologize. Next question, what does it mean that my guitar comes out of tune after I do these bends? Okay, it could mean two things. First of all, I don't know if you have a guitar with a fixed bridge or with a floating bridge. If it's a floating bridge, probably you wouldn't have actually that problem. So if it's a fixed bridge, you might want to check, you know, if you have locking tuners, this always helps. You might want to check your nut. Maybe sometimes the nut is not very, you know, it might be worn out, so the strings are moving in that. And the thing is, well, we need the strings to move so they can move back in place. But if it's too tight or if it's too loose, maybe the strings are not moving in a way that the note can return back frequency. metal pieces of gear, so they will expand the more you bend them, because they get stretched, right? They get stretched, so they have some sort of limit of how much stretching you can do, and this is probably why they break when it's been a long time, you know. So yeah, it might be natural, but if it happens all the time, you might want to just check up your guitar setup, of course. Okay, after I release, next question, after I release a pre-bend, the string above is vibrating. How can I lessen this effect? Yeah, this takes back to what I talked about last week about how you can mute the bends. Again, what you need to do, your first finger from the left hand is your best friend, because this needs to be laying flat there all the time. So if I'm doing this pre-bend here, if I don't have my first finger here, it's gonna make noise. Can you hear it? So if I leave it like that, maybe less so in other sets of strings, but it will do that, because obviously you're touching that string above. Same as when you bend, just when you pre-bend, you're getting there even quicker. So it's vital that you always keep your index finger on the left hand lightly touching the strings above, right? So no noise. I don't even have to. That's what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, if you want to vibrate, obviously I need to keep my right hand down to mute the other strings. But the one above, the pre-bend, you can only take care of it with your left index. And that's what you should always do in bends. Unless you definitely need it for, a very, very high bend. But then again, by the time you get to that, you will have found your way around. Okay, sorry again for our connection breakups here. Just want to close this week's lesson. It was great fun. I hope you enjoyed it again. And thank you for the lovely comments and questions. Makes me feel very warm. It's great. Let's keep it up. I'll see you next week with hammer-ons and legato. It's going to be week 5. We're going to be halfway through. So, cheers again, everyone. Thank you. This was Irene.